You are listening to Nerds with Mics. Today's podcast is brought to you by Gamefly.com. Sign up for a premium free 30-day trial specifically for our listeners at the following URL, gameflyoffer.com/nerdswithmics. Today we're talking about who we're going to call, what's up with Batfleck, and what kind of tombs do you want to raid. This is Nerds with Mics. Hey everybody, I'm Justin.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Maxwell.
This is episode 12 of Nerds with Mics, a podcast about movies, TV shows, games, technology, and much more. The Nerds with Mics podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at nerdswithmics.com. All right, guys, so what have you been into?
Well, I have been watching a TV show on Netflix that we'll get into a little later called Stranger Things, and I've still been playing a lot of Pokemon. I have not touched my gaming console in a matter of probably 2 to 3 weeks, which is extremely sad.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've just been working.
Because you're a grown man.
I am a grown man catching Pokemon in the real world, so it doesn't get much more adult than that. What about you, Maxwell?
Well, I actually had the weekend off after a long haul of 6 days straight of closing, which was a nightmare. But now, let's see, the weekend, I guess I did not a whole lot of anything. I got to sleep in a lot, so that was good. I did some work on my car. It was a nice, relaxing weekend. So something I needed after the long days.
Did you do any Pokemon playing?
You know what? I didn't. It's probably been open about 3 times since the last podcast when I downloaded it. It's not my cup of tea, I guess you could say. But that Stranger Things, on the other hand,
that is your cup of tea.
That is my cup of tea.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. So what about you, Justin?
Did you forget my name for a second?
No, yeah, I did.
Okay, I've been playing Pokemon Go, like you. Unlike you, though, I have been playing a little bit of Xbox. I played some Red Dead Redemption, as it is now backwards compatible. And I finally got caught up on Mr. Robot. I'm only a year behind. Well, not anymore, but I was. And I'm excited to start the second season.
Well, that's good. So one of the things that I'm anxious to talk about is actually our first topic. Maxwell went and seen the new Ghostbusters movie. I have not seen it. Justin, have you seen it?
I really want to. I just haven't got a chance.
There's been a lot of controversy around people that are really hardcore into the original ones, saying, "Oh, this is going to be a terrible movie." So Maxwell, I'd like to hear your thoughts on on your take of how you thought the new movie was.
So this is actually the first movie I've ever actually put a review on, like, Fandango, because I kind of just felt obligated to, honestly, because the reviews on it were like a 42% on the opening night, and it's just substantially better than that. I actually gave it 4 out of 5 stars on there, and it was just like a couple sentences, but it was just saying, like, so many people bashed this movie prior to it coming out because of women, because it was a remake in a way, although it's technically not a remake, right? It's just like a reboot. But I felt that people, they just need to give it a chance, and there are too many that have made up their own opinions, either because it's women or just because it is a remake.
Yeah, I mean, I still definitely want to see it. I think the cast probably, I haven't seen it yet, but I assume the cast plays really well off each other as far as like the comedy aspect of it and all, and I'm sure the special effects probably look really good. I'm not one of those people to talk bad about a movie. Like, even if I'm a super huge fan of like the originals, like I will go into those movies a little bit kind of skeptical if it's going to be any good. But if it does a good enough job making it stand on its own 2 feet, then I'm perfectly fine with that. So would you say this movie did a good job of standing on its own 2 feet?
Yeah, actually. And the jokes I felt they did a good job of placement and stuff. And the one right at the beginning that kind of pushed the border as far as the jokes. But there were some guest appearances of what people wanted to see, really. There were some nice ties into the people from the old movies. And a nice ode to, oh, God, what was his name? The guy that passed away.
Harold Ramis.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth watching, though. That cast, I guess it's already kind of been announced, right? Sony said that despite it, they did $46 million in its opening week. The Sony chief says there's definitely going to be a sequel. So, I mean, that's good news. I think once you see it, you'll agree that there should be a sequel.
Well, I'm definitely going to try to go see it. Is it something you think you're going to want to see, Justin?
Oh, absolutely. It's on my to-do list, which could
Your
take a
to-do
years.
list for movies, Justin, is getting really, really long, though.
It really
A
is.
lot of them aren't in theaters anymore.
I do have Batman versus Superman now. That's not much yet, so
Yeah.
I'll get to it.
One of the things that I also seen in the notes here, I don't know if you mentioned Maxwell. Did you mention Leslie Jones was targeted by cyberbullies, resulting in her leaving Twitter?
I did not mention that, but you just did. So
Yeah.
there you go.
That's
Done.
that just seems really asinine for people to to feel like they're going to hate a movie so much that they're actually going to target an individual. Like, I just can't understand that.
Yeah. A lot of the comments were so racist,
Oh, they're
basically,
awful.
and so awful that they couldn't like even discuss them on TV, like during the news and stuff. But I mean, she like left it with like tears, basically.
Yeah.
And basically, anybody, if there's any of you out there that do this kind of stuff, like just imagine being in their shoes. So don't do it. I mean, there's the old saying of sticks and stones break bones, but words, I mean, honestly can hurt people a lot. And with the problem with the internet now, the cyberbullying, I mean, it causes a lot of suicides and stuff. So really think about what you do.
Yeah, it's really sad. And I feel like it's a bigger issue than a lot of people probably want to admit too.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, and I don't get, like, I mean, you said imagine just being in their shoes. Just imagine being a good person and don't do it because it makes you a total dick.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so let's talk about something that Maxwell and I mostly carry the conversation for because you don't know anything about it. So Netflix, I had seen a preview for it, but had forgot about it, and then Maxwell had texted in our group chat that we needed to check out a Netflix original show called Stranger Things. And boy, am I glad I did, Maxwell. I mean, the show is phenomenal. I mean, it's everything that I want in a homage to 80s sci-fi movies. I mean, it's fantastic. Like, if you didn't know that it was modern day, you really, I mean, it looks like it was just straight picked from the 80s. It's awesome.
How far are you into it?
I've finished it. I'm done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, I mean, the casting, like, I was kind of weirded out that, is it Winona Ryder? Is that her name? Like,
That's right.
I haven't seen her in anything in a really long time, but she does a really good job as that character, as the mom that you kind of think is maybe going crazy, maybe not going crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
it's centered around a lot of kids through this movie, which kind of makes it even more 80s, I think.
Yeah, it kind of... yeah, go ahead.
But the acting behind the children, honestly, I am just still in awe that there was not a single one that seemed a little off or like they were acting. I mean, it just felt so real as far as the characters.
Yeah, and what I thought the cast, mostly the kids I mean, all the cast is great, but I thought the kids had a great chemistry amongst themselves. Like, each one of the characters had something different to bring to the group. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really awesome. To me, like, if people's asked me to kind of describe it, and I'm like, if I had to describe it, it would be almost kind of like E.T. meets Poltergeist meets Close Encounters of a Third Kind. I mean, it's like all the 80s sci-fi kind of blended together.
Meets the Goonies.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so good. And I mean, I'll be honest, I still have a lot of questions. You know, I'm obviously, I don't want to say anything that's going to ruin it for people that haven't watched it yet, but like, there's still a lot of unanswered questions, like, by the end of the series. And you're just thinking, obviously, they're setting up for maybe another season.
Yeah.
If it goes well.
They said it's definitely going to have a sequel, but it's going to be more of a sequel than it is going to be a continuation.
Okay.
So you may not get the same people, the same like following of that, which I guess is kind of smart because this is like an 8-hour-long movie, really.
Yeah.
And trying to write that again with the same characters, I feel like is kind of pushing it. So they may just kind of play off the same concerns and issues that were happening, but just a new cast or something.
Yeah, I thought it was also really interesting. There's a character, and this really won't give much away, but there's a character that gets introduced. It's a small girl. Her name is, in the show, her name is 11. They end up calling her Elle. But she doesn't have many lines in that show throughout the whole 8 episodes, but even for her not to have many lines, I thought she played that character extremely well. You know, I thought she was phenomenal. The chemistry between her and Mike, which is one of the main kids, I think that played off really well. And just the overall storyline. There was little storylines going on with each individual character that kind of all came together at the end that kind of interwove, and I just thought that was really cool how they did it. So, on to more sci-fi, keeping a sci-fi theme. So there's been some news that some Star Trek 4 news. Obviously, is the new one out yet, or is it about to come out?
I think about this past weekend.
Okay. So Star Trek 4, there's talk that Chris Hemsworth will actually return to Star Trek. For those of you that don't know and haven't watched the newer Star Trek movies, Chris Hemsworth actually played Captain Kirk's father in the first. You see him in the first opening scene of the Star Trek movie. So I'm kind of curious if Star Trek 4 if they're going to be playing off flashbacks or if it's going to be more of a prequel or how that's going to work. Because in the beginning of it, spoiler alert, Captain Kirk's dad dies. So, so yeah, for those of you that haven't seen that movie that's been out for several years. But
have either of you guys watched this new one?
No.
Wait, it's not out yet, is it?
I don't know, to be honest.
That's how little I care about it.
It's called Star Trek Beyond, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I saw a few reviews for it, and it actually, I know you thought it was going to be bad because of the director, but it got pretty decent reviews. Looks like it comes out on the 22nd, this Friday, so my bad.
Yeah. So all the people that liked it must be fans of the Fast and Furious movies. Am I right, Maxwell?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I think it's going to be cool to see him kind of return as well. I'm just kind of curious of where the storyline is going to go since they're obviously bringing him back into the new movie, so it'll be kind of interesting. Now on for some Netflix news.
Yes, the show that turned everyone in America into legal experts is getting some new episodes because Netflix announced today that Making a Murderer would be receiving a second season to continue the story of Stephen Avery as he tries to get released from prison again. Don't kill people.
Yeah.
I don't think he did it.
Yeah, there's a ton of theories on this.
Oh, it's so
Maxwell,
nuts.
I know that you haven't watched it, but if you ever get any free time and you're really interested in like being on the fence whether you thought a man killed a person or didn't kill a person, it's definitely the show to watch.
That sounds a little, I don't know.
It's really well done. It's
is
documentary style. Like it's
fantastic.
I didn't think I'd like it, but I started watching it and Sarah was like, "Oh, why are you watching that?" And then she got invested in it, like she does every other show she makes fun of when I watch.
And
then,
Pokemon.
Yeah, and Pokemon. She's basically a poser. Let's be honest. My wife is a poser. So, well, that's exciting because I think all this stuff is kind of starting to ramp up again. Like he's actively in the process.
Yeah, he's got some top attorney that's really good at getting people out of prison. So who knows?
Yeah. So I think what's going to be different about this is when we were watching the first season, all this stuff had already taken place.
Yeah.
This is going to be happening kind of all in real time, which will be kind of cool. So, well, that's awesome. Now let's talk about some more awesome stuff. Let's talk about Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, man, it just wrapped up this weekend. I don't think it was in America this year. I think it was somewhere else, but a lot of information came out of it.
Okay, well, why don't you lay it on us?
Okay.
Thick.
Well, a big one is one of the favorite characters of the expanded universe before it got scrapped by Disney was Admiral Thrawn. He had his own book series. He's a huge fan. People really just love that character. But whenever that extended universe was scrapped, he was scrapped with it. For the trailer for Star Wars Rebels Season 3, which I know it's a kid's show. I know it's on Disney XD, but if you like Star Wars, it's pretty well done. But Thrawn will be returning to the canon in the show.
Well, that's really awesome.
It's interesting how they're chopping all that stuff out and saying it's not canon, and then bringing in the bits that they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody happen to see the reaction or the celebration reel, the video that they kind of cut all the small portions of stuff that they've shot?
Yeah.
It looks so good.
That looks pretty great.
It looks pretty great. I'm kind of curious of how long it's going to be now that they're done shooting. How long it's going to be till we start to see new trailers roll out.
What's the next big Disney movie coming out? Probably in front of that.
I'm not sure.
Oh, they might put it in front of Suicide Squad just because that's a big one.
That's true.
But also they said that the Rogue One probably won't have an opening crawl, which we've seen in front of 7 movies now.
What's a opening crawl? Like the actual...
It's like the description, the words.
Yeah, that's...
It's saying it probably won't have that.
I wonder why.
That's weird.
Yeah, it seems so...
I don't know. Take it up with Disney. Take it up with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't actually watched the Star Wars Celebration reel, I would highly recommend it because it gave me butterflies in my stomach and made me feel like a kid again.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk about some Batman news.
Okay. Well, I don't know much because I haven't seen BVS. However, what I do know is it's rumored that the standalone Batfleck movie will take place in Arkham Asylum. Without seeing that movie, I will say I love this idea. I think it sounds great.
Yes. What about you, Maxwell? You love Batfleck, don't you?
Yeah, actually. And Justin, have you played the Arkham games.
Probably one of the greatest series from last generation.
So maybe it'll be something along those creepy
That'd be
lines.
so good.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if they would have Jared Leto as the Joker, or if they would just leave the Joker out.
My opinion on that
You hate
Joker
him,
so
yeah.
far.
Let's bring back Mark Hamill. Let's let him do it.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
No, let's bring back.
No,
Don't
can't.
say it. Don't say it.
Who do you think? I was
We're going to just stop you there, Travis.
I wasn't gonna say Heath Ledger.
You said it.
I was gonna say Jack Nicholson.
He probably doesn't want to do it.
No, I thought his Joker was really strange.
It was.
But anyways, yeah. No, I like the idea of this. I don't think it's really ever been done on screen, right? Other than in a video game. So I think it's a great setting for a Batman movie. I'm just curious of how they can shoot a whole movie in one place. But in the game, the asylum is huge, so it might not be so bad. Now, let's talk about more childhood things. Let's talk about Power Rangers, Maxwell.
Let's. So there's actually a picture that got released of the Power Rangers costumes up close, and their faces exposed in the helmets. If you remember a few months back, there was a release where it's just the suits sitting on like a bunch of wooden blocks or whatever. It was like pretty cheaply done, the photo, but you could see all the actual outfits. This one is up close, and you can see that it's like a texturized finish. It's really weird. It kind of looks like marble or...
Yeah, it's
like
very reflective.
It's got like some kind of weird paint job. But we'll see how that holds up in the actual film. But if you want to check it out, it is online.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it right now, and
I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a little interesting. It almost looks like...
Terrible.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, once it's on screen, we might change our minds. But the more details that leak about this Power Ranger movie, mostly because Walter White.
No, like that one picture of them in the suits looked awesome. Like if there's a link to it on that link that you had for us, but like those suits look awesome. But do you think these suits are these suits CGI or are they actual suits?
No, I think they're actual suits. I think they're just I think they just have a shiny coating on them to make them look almost not real. So.
They're so real that they're not real.
Which it might look different in the actual film because Apocalypse looked totally different in the film than the picture that got released. He was like super purple in the shot that they released, but in the movie, of course, he was a little more blue.
Yeah, I'm hoping this movie is going to be really good because if it's adult themed, like adult toned, kind of like we made reference to in the last podcast, that it kind of had the same tone as what the Christopher Nolan Batman movies are going to be. I'm really excited for it. So I'm just kind of curious of how it's going to turn out. So now let's talk about something else that I'm not super familiar with because I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but I think you and Justin probably watch a fair amount. Is Futurama?
I actually don't watch it.
Oh, you don't? Maxwell, I guess you're going to have to carry this.
You're up, buddy.
Futurama's so good. It's Matt Groening, so it's the same guy that does The Simpsons. But that was a show that made it on Fox. It was so good. And then went off the air, got canceled, and it was brought back by Comedy Central because so many fans that just basically demanded it. But it came back, and then it finalized after a few seasons. Still one of my favorites, honestly. But right now, the discussion is actually about another fan. This guy is probably one of the biggest fans then because it's going to be a fan film called Fan-O-Rama. And it takes a realistic approach to all the characters. So, if you've seen it at all, they have a walking crab, Zoidberg. They have a woman with one eye. They have an old man. So it's a cartoon, very much so. But this is going to be realistic done. It's real characters, real actors in costumes. And it looks fantastic. You just got to go look it out or look it up. It's Fan-O-Rama, again, is the title of the film. They got a lot of backing, and Futurama's actually backing them. So go check it out. It should be released this summer, and I assume it'll just be like an online release.
Yeah, I mean, this might be something that makes me want to watch it. I love The Simpsons, so I can imagine I'd really like this show. I've seen it occasionally on TV, but I've never actively, watched it, in its entirety. So it might be something that I have to go back and do.
For you, the listeners of Nerds with Mics, Gamefly is offering a premium, free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To get your free trial today, go to gameflyoffer.com/nerdswithmics. Again, that's gameflyoffer.com/nerdswithmics for your free 30-day trial.
And we're back. So let's talk about some more Pokemon news, because that seems to be all the craze right now, right?
It is.
So
It's the big thing right now.
it is the big thing.
That's what your mom said.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you always got to sneak in a mom joke.
I know.
You know what's really sad is when I was a kid.
Oh, God.
When I was a kid, we lost our house in a fire, and I lost all my Pokemon trading cards. And what's crazy, all I had left was just Ash.
Nice.
Boom, boom, boom.
You sold that really well.
Yeah, I definitely did. I turned a mom joke into a "you felt bad for me" joke.
I know.
And tied in a Pokemon joke, so it all worked out.
It all worked out. You're
yeah.
full of them. Full of them. A regular Jerry Seinfeld over here.
Yeah. So let's talk about Pokemon. So Pokemon Go has actually pushed GameStop's Pokemon merchandise sales up 100%, which is pretty crazy.
That's probably because they didn't carry much Pokemon stuff before, did they? Because the
true.
series kind of died out.
Well, I know that we were downtown earlier today, and we walked in front of that Pokemon, or in front of the GameStop, and we noticed as soon as you get in the door, there's a table set up with all sorts of Pokemon merchandise all over it. So I feel like everybody that is able to sell Pokemon merchandise is probably trying to cash in as much as they can.
Oh, definitely.
And also some interesting news today about Nintendo is that Nintendo broke stock market records, Justin. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think it was Friday is the day they actually did it. They traded 476 billion yen, which means nothing to us, but that equates to $4.5 billion in just one day, which just seems absurd. I don't know what the standard trading day is like because I just don't care, but $4.5 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah, and Nintendo, had been in news a lot that they were consistently losing money year over year with the Wii and all that stuff, and there was a lot of people that was concerned about, where Nintendo was going to be, a year or 5 from now, and the fact that they were just able to trade, stock after the short time this game's been out and be able to return $4.5 billion in just one day is pretty phenomenal. So
yeah, and they put all that money into actual games for the console, these stupid motion things that you go out and buy, and screens on your game pads. But then here it is, this free app on an iPhone that Nintendo didn't even want to do was make mobile games, and then just exploded.
I could see the potential in the future. I'm not going to say the near future, but in the future where Nintendo could possibly be making more games on mobile platforms than they are on their actual consoles.
What if a Legend of Zelda type game, and instead of gyms, there were dungeons around, and you had to go there and fight like a monster, and
there's so many cool concepts for this type of game. Like we talked last week, like how cool would an Animal Crossing one be, where you have to go to a certain part of town and there's like certain trees or certain fruit that you can bring back to your own place. But yeah, Zelda one would be really cool. I know that they're also supposedly working on some sort of Fire Emblem game for iOS and Android, and they're also working on an Animal Crossing game for iOS and Android as well. So it's just crazy that, like Maxwell, you said, like they're able to take a game that they didn't want to originally make in the first place, and then now all of a sudden it's one of the hottest things ever. So it's really kind of cool. It's actually gotten so big that they now have a sponsor, right? So McDonald's is actually partnering with Nintendo/Pokemon, and they're partnering to make every McDonald's a Pokestop.
Or a gym.
Yeah. Which is...
It's a good idea because after you eat that Big Mac, you can go walk it off.
Yeah, or it's a way to get you to walk into McDonald's and get you to eat more food than you normally would.
Maybe that's what it is, yeah.
Because I literally have no desire to ever go to McDonald's, ever. So, luckily for me, I can stand outside and collect it and not have to go in. So,
and now a word from our sponsor, McDonald's. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't ever
After you just trash them.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the... another really interesting, it's the last of the Pokemon news we have. I mean, there's tons
more. For this episode.
Yeah, there's tons more we could give you, but we try to keep it to a minimum of like 3 things. Is that today... there was a 27-year-old by the name of Roman. He was caught at a checkpoint on Monday evening after intentionally running away when challenged by security guards at a military complex. He accidentally wandered into this military complex trying to catch a Pokemon. So the guy just wanders into a base and he gets stopped by security guards and then he turns and runs the opposite direction. So
This is getting out of control.
2 dead bodies have been found as a result.
oh, a two? I know
Two
it was
dead
one.
bodies. Yeah, they found another one, I think, over the weekend.
Well, chances are it was probably somebody that was
Playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's probably where these dead bodies are coming from. So the news for Pokemon just keeps getting crazier and crazier. So, all right, well, that's enough about Pokemon. Let's talk about one thing that I'm kind of getting more excited about. Let's talk about the new Xbox One S.
I think you're getting more excited about it because the day's coming up, and I believe you have one on pre-order, right?
I do have one on pre-order. However,
Oh, God. There's a however.
I have the 1 terabyte pre-order.
What is wrong with you?
So I'm going to have to change my pre-order to the 2 terabyte model because that way it comes out August 2nd.
Yeah, it's $50 more and you get a whole terabyte.
Yeah, but I'm only planning on keeping it as long as the Project Scorpion comes out. So
Oh, just get it.
yeah, but the new Xbox One S now has a release date for the 2 terabyte model. It's going to be released August 2nd for $399. The 500 gig model and the 1 terabyte model do not have dates set yet, but it will be released sometime after August 2nd, I assume.
Dumb question. Maybe not dumb. I don't know. Does this come with a Kinect or no, or is that just dead?
No, I'm pretty sure it's just dead.
That's kind of strange though, because they did just put out Cortana. You think they'd kind of want to support
the thing
that?
is,
Your headset.
yeah, your headset.
Yeah.
Just like on the PlayStation, like you can use your headset for voice commands, so you don't need a camera. What I thought would be interesting is if you're not wearing a headset, what if you had a microphone built into your controller that would also act as that as well?
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool. All right, well, let's talk about some other news. Maxwell, lay it on us. Talk about that Tomb Raider.
So, Rise of the Tomb Raider will release on PlayStation 4 on October 11th. This is going to include all the DLC and all the new modes, or all new modes. It's $60, which is the traditional price of a game, right?
Yes.
Which is that asking too much since we had to wait a year?
Well,
do you think?
I like to think of the PlayStation users as like filthy peasants who just. No, I'm joking. But you do get all the DLC and new modes exclusive to you, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
I
kind
like
of
the idea of all the extra stuff. So it's kind of like going in and buying Battlefield 4 after they give you everything.
Yeah.
And it's the same price as the game was a year prior. So it's almost the same setup.
It is, yeah.
yeah, it is. I think $60 can probably be justified because if you think about having a $40 game and then you think about a season pass, which is typically $20 or $30,
Maybe they should have offered a $40 version.
without the DLC.
Yeah, and then give you a $60 version with everything. That would be okay.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Because all they would have to do is put a digital code in the box. They wouldn't have to, do anything extra. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited for this because I didn't get to play I played the last Tomb Raider game, but I've not got to play the new one. Maxwell, you played the last Tomb Raider game that was the reboot one, right?
Yes, that's like the starting of her story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that game.
Do you think you might eventually? I mean, I know you haven't been playing a ton of games on your PlayStation, but do you think this is one you'll want to play?
I need to kick off some dust off of that PlayStation. This looks like a good game for that.
Yeah, well, good. All right, Justin. So I know you're really big into Telltale games. I played a handful of them, but not as many as you have.
Oh,
so
man.
you have some Telltale Games news for us?
I love them. Yeah. So today they shocked the nation when they released a.
Shock the
They
nation.
So
shocked
exciting.
the nation. Yes. When they released the first gameplay trailer for episode 1 of their new Batman series, Realm of Shadows. I'm going to say I can't wait. It'll probably be my pick of the week when it comes out. It looks amazing. I love Telltale. I love Batman, even though it's in the movie, don't give me crap. And it comes out August 2nd, which is just in a couple of weeks. I'm pretty excited. And I know you haven't seen it. Have you seen it, Maxwell, the trailer? I mean, it
I
just
have
came out
not.
today. Okay.
No, tell me about it.
Amazing.
Hold on. Maxwell, close your eyes. I'll close my eyes. Tell us about it, Justin.
No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Anyway, so it looks like you're going to be playing as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Well, they are the same person.
Well, no, I mean like some you know what I mean. Like,
Listen, all I'm going to say is I'm not Batman, but what I will tell you is
you haven't been in the same room
you'll
together.
never
yeah.
see me and Batman. in the
I
same
got it,
room.
yeah. Anyway. But no, like it looks like there'll be some missions where you are acting as Bruce Wayne. And
That's really
some
cool.
As Batman. And then also it's Harvey Dent Two-Face. The big election's going on for him in the trailer.
Rachel!
Yes. And it looks great. And I just can't wait to play it.
Yeah, that's I'm pretty excited about it. And the graphic, this is the first game that they're using this new graphics engine on too, correct?
You know what? I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah, so well, you just watched the trailer. You should know it looks better than all
it
the
did
other
look
games.
better. Well, it kind of looked like the same, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't
That's
be.
always how it starts, though. If they get better graphics or a new console, and it's like, oh, it looks really good. A few months in, they really take advantage of those new processors and stuff.
Yeah, they do. They take advantage of all the processors. So
Oh well.
yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. So this comes out August 2nd, right?
August 2nd. That's episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
As always, you can buy the season pass up front. It doesn't really save you any money, I don't think. But as a word of advice, they always go on sale. You can just wait.
Yeah, you could wait unless you're a huge Batman fan. Then
Well, no, you can buy episode 1 for $5, but then buy the season pass when it goes on sale.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I think like Walking Dead season 2 was on sale before episode 2 came out.
Yeah.
So
Justin, you had a really good question that you wanted to ask us and also our audience and listeners.
yes.
So,
So last week, one of our listeners, whose name is also Justin, asked us what game series we missed from last generation that we regret. You know, we each had our answers and whatnot. This week, Red Dead Redemption became backwards compatible a few weeks ago, and I've been playing it, and it reminded me how much I really love that game and how much I missed it. So what game, did you absolutely play or played last generation that you would love to play again? And Maxwell and I can't say Mass Effect, and I can't say SOCOM. With that in mind, Travis.
well, what game did I play on last console that actually I would like to play on this console? It's a loaded question because the one that I would have said has already been released, and that was Grand Theft Auto 5.
No.
However, there was one that actually was just recently released, I think maybe yesterday, Resident Evil 5.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because Maxwell and I played a ton of Resident Evil 5, and it actually got the HD remake treatment, and I think it's only $20.
Oh, nice.
So I'd have to say probably Resident Evil 5. While you guys are talking, I'll think of something else, but that's the first thing that comes to mind because I played it so much was Resident Evil 5. So
Yeah, same for me. But I can't think of specifically a 360 game or a PS3 game that I would like to play. But if we're talking backwards compatibility, I'm going to go way back
Oh, wow.
and say
Pong.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, nice.
oh, that's a great game.
They remastered that for PS3, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then that counts.
Yeah, that counts, Maxwell.
Yeah.
Does it count?
Yeah.
Because I want to play it on my PS4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they made it for PS3, and then I think it may be part of PlayStation.
PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they did a remake, so yeah, that'll be a good example.
All right. Well, there we go.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Mine isn't just a single game that was on
Is it a-
Xbox.
is it a franchise?
It's a franchise that hasn't been seen yet on this generation. Travis, you know what I'm talking about because we played this.
SOCOM? No,
No,
you can't say that.
no.
I'm just kidding. I thought
Splinter
you-
Cell.
Oh yeah.
I miss me some Sam.
Yeah, dude. The last game they changed the voice of the guy.
They did, and it sucked. But the game itself was really good.
Yeah.
I bought the airplane bundle. So I have this airplane I've never put together.
That is
I'll
ridiculous.
have to bring it over one day. We'll fly it.
Yeah, my dog will destroy it.
That's okay. I got it on clearance one day at
No.
GameStop. It was like $30.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so Splinter Cell is a really good example.
Why haven't we seen a new one yet?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you, because Ubisoft is too busy making
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs and The Division and all these
Assassin's
other.
Creed.
They took a break.
Travis.
What?
What about Perfect Dark?
Oh, I do miss some Perfect Dark.
Remember when we picked that up for it was the 360, right?
Yeah.
That's when the second one that came out. Remember you and I picked that up at the pawn shop. It was pretty cheap. We wanted to play
I tried to
together.
sell you on the promise that was going to be an amazing game, didn't I?
Was it
It
Zero
was
or was it Perfect Dark?
absolutely one of the worst games.
Which one
after
was it?
Perfect Dark
Zero.
Oh yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like it came out as a launch title, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we played it a few years, I guess, after the 360 was made. So another example of how the games come out and they're like, oh, it looks good. And then months later, they look so
It
much
looks
better.
so
because
rough.
People are really taking advantage of the system. That game, oh my god, it was like we were playing an N64.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad, and they actually have it on Xbox 360. You can get the rare replay, and that's one of the games that's part of the rare replay. So it even got the treatment for the
Yeah.
Xbox One as well. So
It was like the first 5 minutes. He and I were running around, and we fall into this. There's like a boat sitting in water, like inside of a building, and we fall down in the water. There's a ladder, but you cannot climb the ladder.
Oh.
If you fall in there, you're literally just stuck, and you just have to reset the system.
That game was bad.
So I will tell you another game that just popped in my head that I actually don't have to wait that long for is I cannot wait to get my hands on Skyrim.
I think I said Bioshock, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I said that last week of
Yeah.
franchise that I missed. But,
Oh, that's right.
But
I
yeah,
missed it.
but yeah, Skyrim. I mean, I know you can play it on the PC with all the mods and make it look next gen, but there's just something about sitting on your couch with the big screen and your surround sound and just playing that game. And I cannot wait for that, especially because now it's going to support mods.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be able to turn all the dragons into My Little Ponies, and I'm going to be able to turn some dragons into Macho Man Randy Savage. So when they breathe fire, they go, "Ooh yeah!" So that's going to be pretty exciting.
That does sound great.
Yeah.
I do want to piggyback off of Perfect Dark here. Another game series we haven't seen in quite some time.
Don't say GoldenEye.
Well, I was going to say James Bond games in general. We haven't had one since
The James Bond games,
Activision.
I actually liked a lot of the third person ones. I thought were actually really good.
Yeah, Bloodstone and Everything or Nothing, I think.
And even like the driving mechanics and like the missions and stuff were really
the people
cool.
that made Need for Speed or Burnout, one or the other, did the driving portion. But yeah, I wish we'd get like an original story for James Bond, and it would be amazing.
You know what game I can't remember if it was on the 360 or if it was on the regular Xbox, but do you remember? I think they only came out with one, but do you remember the Indiana Jones game that came out?
Oh, yeah.
Where you could actually whip and swing and all that stuff. It was in the fighting mechanics. It was kind of like Batman Arkham.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see another one of those type of games. I mean, I guess if you think about it, it's like, oh, that's basically Uncharted 4. But
who cares? It's Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So I'd like to see a lot of the games that were really good on some older consoles get new versions of them.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, I mean, we may have. Well, I guess theoretically you could have an HD remake of that, but they're working on some new title that looks very like a modern version. Remember the video where he's like walking out and he's like,
"Oh, that's going to be just like an action adventure game, though."
Wasn't that not what?
That's the Old Republic, a turn-based RPG.
That's true, man. Yeah, I do want a new. Oh, you know another one? God, I keep thinking.
I know,
but this isn't even 360. This is regular Xbox.
That's all right.
But do you remember Jade Empire?
Oh, that game is so good.
Yeah, Jade Empire was the same developers as Knights of the Old Republic, but it was more of like the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type, like kung fu type stuff, and it had the same type of turn-based mechanics and all that stuff.
That game, it goes on sale on Steam for like $2 like every month.
Yeah. Go ahead, Maxwell.
I got one.
Okay.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yep,
Ooh, I've played all those games, and those
games got so freaking hard.
That's what I was gonna say. They are probably the most difficult games I've ever played.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean they really are, because if you don't block and you don't counter, you're just die instantly. It's crazy. And also, I think one of our listeners, Justin, mentioned this a couple episodes ago. He wrote in, but what about Shenmue?
Oh yeah.
Still waiting on that.
Yep.
So there is a ton of games now that I'm sitting here thinking.
I know.
That was a good question. Good job, Justin.
Thank you.
Now, I'll tell you what, we would like to hear from some of our listeners what games you would like to see the HD retreatment to on previous gen consoles, whether it be PS3 or
backwards compatibility,
Xbox 360, or even backwards compatibility like Red Dead Redemption. So
that game holds up so well.
Does it?
Like, for being 6 years old, it feels like it just came out. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Now, when they do the backwards compatibility, it is through and through the same game. Like, it doesn't get like...
No, there's no... I think it may upscale to 1080 if it wasn't already, but yeah everything's...
That was such
like DuckTales?
Sure.
Yeah.
Remember when they redid that one? They added 3D effects and everything?
Oh, yeah. I have it on my iPad, actually. It's actually
the same game.
It's actually really fun. You know another good game? It's not even it's an indie game, but if you haven't played it, I don't know why I just thought of it. It's on the Xbox One store, and it's also on the PlayStation store. But if you haven't played any of the Trine games are fantastic as well.
Those are really good.
I have all three of those, and they're really, really good. So, all right, well, that's pretty much does it for that topic. I almost even dread bringing up this topic. I'm only trying to do it because I'm trying to get us more topics. I don't even watch wrestling. I don't care about wrestling. If our listeners do, I apologize. It's just not something I'm into. But I wanted to bring up this topic because it seems kind of a big deal for wrestling fans, and I'm almost embarrassed to even talk about it because I don't know anything about wrestling. But One of the things that actually just recently came out in the news is that former wrestlers are suing WWE over brain injuries. And what's crazy about it is it's not just one or two people. There's more than 50 former wrestlers and performers that have filed a suit against WWE, claiming that they hid the risk of brain trauma and failed to provide wrestlers the necessary medical attention and support. So there's over 50 people suing this organization, claiming that that.
Do you think that the numbers will get a lot higher when the all the fans that have brain injuries watch it?
Oh gosh.
I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, especially if you're talking about people recreating things they see on TV in their own backyards. But I know what you're
Well, I
referring.
just meant you
I
had
just
to
by
be brain
watching
dead
it.
to watch it.
Oh man.
Okay, real quick. Though, do you think that they're truly doing this, or do you think they're just following their script?
No. Yeah, because it's like a man's soap opera. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's really all I had to say. There's a whole article up. Yeah, it's real interesting that over 50 people are doing it. It also could be that these are people that aren't wrestling anymore and their money has ran out and they're just looking for ways to find new money. I mean, I'm sure going through this, yes, we know it's a script, but it is probably very taxing on the body when when you do go through the wrestling and all that type of stuff. I mean, it looks painful, but yeah, so I guess they're just gonna try to wait and see what happens with that, if they're gonna get any money or not. So, all right, let's talk about pick of the week. Pick of the week. I don't know why. There we go. So, Maxwell, why don't you start us off? Because I see you're the only one that's actually wrote anything down. So go ahead.
Dude, it's got to be Stranger Things. If you don't have Netflix, you need to sign up now.
Even for a trial, just to watch this show.
It's what, 8 episodes?
Yeah, because you could be in and out. That's just, you only need like 24 hours. So, well, technically you just need 8 hours.
I watched
so
it
you
in
could
2
just
days.
binge watch it.
Over 2 days. I binge watched for 2 days, and it was.
Yeah, I split it in the two, but it was so perfect. Just down to the music, the intro, the video sequence during the intro. I guess.
Like the title screen and everything.
Title screen is the word I was looking for.
Every time that came on, I just felt like I was being taken back to my childhood. It was really crazy. So,
yeah, and if you like the music from Tron, it kind of had that same feel. It was really nice.
Yeah, what's crazy is they recorded over 13 hours of music, even though they only had 8 hours of actual video material. So they definitely took a lot of that stuff into account and recreating, a lot of that same feel for an 80s movie. So I'm hoping we see more of these come, even if it's not sci-fi. Like, it'd be really cool to see like a horror movie that was kind of based, kind of like the same style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Now let me ask you something, Maxwell, and hopefully this doesn't give too much away, but in the show, the big dilemma is it's kind of like parallel worlds, right? Like our world and like what they refer to as the upside down world. Okay. Do you think the creature that they are running from or trying to kill, do you think of that creature as more demonic, or do you think of that creature as an alien?
The first couple of episodes I felt more alien, but then as it progressed, it definitely seemed more demonic.
Okay, that was kind of my feeling. I want to make sure that I wasn't alone in that, because like the first, I'd say 3 to 4 episodes, especially when you meet the little girl, Elle, or 11, you definitely have that more like alien type feel, like something's going on. But then by the end of it, you're kind of like, this is more of a demonic type, thing. So I just want to make sure I wasn't alone in thinking that. So, all right, Justin, what do you got?
Well, this week, HBO debuted a new series from the mind of Jody Hill and Danny McBride, and it's called Vice Principals. It stars Danny McBride and Walton Goggins from films and TV shows such as Justified, The Hateful Eight, and that first episode, man, it was fantastic. I can't wait to see where this show goes. The premise is it's Bill Murray plays the principal of the school. His wife is dying. And they're the two vice principals, Walton Goggins and Danny McBride, and they're fighting for the position.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're fighting for the position, and it's just, oh, my God, like, I don't think I stopped laughing. It was so good. It wasn't as crude as Eastbound and Down, but it definitely had that feel to it.
I'm going to have to check that out. Now that I've watched Stranger Things and I don't really have a show to watch, that's probably going to be one.
Only one episode out so far, and it's only 30 minutes.
Oh, that's not.
If you don't do it, then you suck.
So it's going to be kind of like any other HBO series. It's a week-to-week thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. I don't feel pressured to binge watch, so that always helps.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, when I was watching Stranger Things, like, I started it the night that Maxwell texted out, said, hey, you need to check out this show. And before I knew, it was 4:30 in the morning, and I was on episode 5. I was like, I said, I have to go to bed. Like, it was one of those, like, because I felt like each episode of that show, like, left you thinking what's going to happen next. And I just felt like, oh, well, I'll just watch one more. Or, oh, okay, I'll just watch one more. So I fell into that trap like you do when you watch a really good show. So, and I really hate to do it, but my pick of the week also has to be Stranger Things. It has to. I mean, it's phenomenal. Everybody I talked to at work, that was one thing that I asked them. Hey, have you watched that new show on Netflix, Stranger Things? Do you love 80s movies? Do you love sci-fi? I can't recommend the show highly enough. I mean, it.
Originally, it was going to be, for me, Ghostbusters, because I was so impressed with it, and I wanted to make a big deal out of it. But, dude, Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean,
Stranger
kicked it
things have
off the
happened.
shelf. Yeah. Oh.
yeah, it's yeah, I mean, I went into it because I mean I love 80s movies and I love sci-fi, but like I really didn't think that it was going to capture the same essence to me that I have when I go back and I watch like movies like E.T. or when I watch movies like The Poltergeist or when I watch movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like that feeling that you get that you're in that era. And I just can't speak highly enough of how well they were able to capture that and really take me back to a lot of the movies that I used to watch as in my childhood, you know. So for me, that's why it's a pick of the week because it completely blew my mind. It blew me away. The only complaint that I had about it is I wish that it was more than 8. I mean, it felt like the right amount of time. Like I think after I got done watching it, I was like, well, that was a good pacing, you know. But it ended so shortly. I wanted more of it. You know what I mean? That was my
Oh,
only
yeah,
complaint.
that's the problem with Netflix just giving you the whole season at once.
Yeah, I know, because you're not on that week to week. I mean, I wonder if there's a way for me to every time I watch an episode, I'll just sign out and then I'll have Sarah change the password so I can't get back in, and she'll have to give it to me once a week. That way
Yeah,
I can
you
just
can
watch
actually get some rest.
Yeah, get some rest. So, but yeah, so that was my pick of the week. So, all right, so now it's time to say goodbye to all our family.
Okay.
MICKU. No, I'm just kidding.
I will say this: if you want like a feel-good video of the week, I saw this yesterday and it popped up in my newsfeed just now. These two kids, they played the Star Wars theme song in front of John Williams' house, and they had no idea because they were just looking off their sheet music. But he actually steps outside and to listen to them, and when they're done, he comes down and talks to them. Just a nice video.
Oh, that's cool.
So your feel-good
Yeah.
video of the day, look that up. It's pretty great.
Oh, I did see that. I actually watched that yesterday.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, he actually came out and he introduced himself. and-
Yeah, super cool guy. Seemed like.
yeah. I mean,
I gotta learn how to play the trumpet.
they did kill it though. I mean, they
They
were
were
really
really
good
good.
for just
Yeah.
2 people.
Yeah,
All right. Well, great. So
fantastic.
yeah,
Super.
super. Thanks for asking.
Swell. All right.
Well done.
All right, so we want to thank everyone for listening to our podcast. We also want to thank our sponsor, GameFly.
Gamefly.com.
As Justin said last week, if you don't sign up for a free trial, you have to be an absolute idiot.
Yeah, I didn't mean it though.
Yeah, you definitely said that last week,
I
and
know.
I was scared for. Our
Well, it's
listeners.
free.
I could see it in your eyes.
You get a month full of free games,
Yep.
and you can cancel at any time without getting charged. To me, it sounds like you'd be an idiot if you didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean you can.
So let me ask you, Travis, have you done it yet?
No, I
Then
haven't.
you're an idiot.
Yeah, you can literally sign up for a free trial and immediately cancel and still get your 30 days.
I think it's gameflyoffer.com/nerdswithmikes.
It is.
And
It
guess what, listeners? The more of you that sign up for that, the more free stuff we give away.
Yeah, and I know everyone likes free stuff.
Everyone loves free stuff.
Maxwell, do you like free stuff?
I like free stuff, and 30 days of free stuff sounds
Man.
great.
Woo.
Yeah, so guys, we want to thank you all. Come back as often as you feel and add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed if people still use that, or add it to your favorite podcasting app, iTunes, obviously, or TuneIn if you have an Android device, or however you choose to listen. You can also listen from our website. That's www.nerdswithmikes.com.
I think Player FM is our most popular podcasting platform, actually, over iTunes and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which
Well,
I thought that was strange. So thank you, people with Player FM.
Yeah. So you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Although our primary source of stuff is Facebook and Twitter, we're trying to get into Twitch if we can ever get off that Pokemon crack and stop and start streaming.
Can't Twitch Pokemon. Actually,
Yeah.
you probably could.
We'll figure it out.
We'll have to get like a virtual OS running
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And all the links will be in our show notes. If you have any questions, feel free to message us on Facebook or send us a message directly on Twitter. And as always, we would appreciate any feedback that you guys have.
Unless it's mean.
No, we want
I'm just
mean.
kidding.
We want mean feedback as well. So make sure that you send us feedback or questions or content that you would like to see introduced into the show. We would really appreciate that. And also make sure you leave us a review of our podcast on iTunes or however you choose to listen to us.
We're still a little bit short of the 100 for the free puppy. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
The recurring joke that we have.
Yeah, free puppies.
Free puppy when we get 100 reviews.
Yeah. So Maxwell, do you have anything to add, sir?
I'm just interested in the free puppy.
Yeah, well,
I'm more interested in 30 days of free stuff.
and I'm more interested in giving away free stuff to our listeners if they sign up for said free stuff.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of free.
It is. Well, guys, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, bye.
Peace.
Let's get this show started.
Is that how it's going to be every single week?
Yeah, we'll see.